trading runner.
So there's no cannon.
Well,
we're not blowing things up again, Gregor.
I have a question. Sorry. Does it look like we could land anywhere, or is there one really obvious?
Right, so, with your incredibly high perception rolls, you do not see the ships that the cults came over here on.
Okay.
And where the water finishes, the city just begins. There's no beach or dock or quay. It just is out of the ocean.
How sneaky are we all? That's Telemachus. How sneaky are we all, by the way?
Well, I
can be very sneaky.
Can be very sneaky.
You can see that I'm quite
Not
doddery.
sneaky.
No.
Well,
I'm large.
Yeah.
I have a big shell, and I have a big voice.
Well,
I
we've
can't
got-
help with that.
we've got someone who can transform themselves into small animals.
Well, they can also cast Pass Without Trace.
And
that's
that
what
as
you're
well.
alluding to,
That,
yeah.
yeah.
I want to go. I want to see if there's more cultists there. I want to destroy them. I want to stab some people.
You worry me.
In a good way.
Just stab
Freedom.
someone in a good way.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry. It's fine. Stab.
Yeah. I mean, I'm freeing most of the cultists that we've been talking to said they didn't want to be in the cult, so it's just freeing them, and it's...
We just provide them with alternative political options.
Yeah, this is a humanitarian effort
Of stabbing.
of stabbing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Might we be able to contact the army that Aircos saw from the crow's nest?
Yeah. How would you do that?
Summoning birds?
So just to remind you, they're sort of 2 hours sail that way, or an hour and a half at this point. Sail that way.
Can we summon birds?
I don't know. Can you?
I can't. I can only speak to them.
Like,
Does anyone have a louder voice than me? Because my specialism is quiet.
Could do animal messenger, but we
Okay.
haven't established if that's our army or not.
Don't want to bring more bad people though.
What's the worst that could happen?
Oh, there's no more ships. They can't get here. There's no more ships. Even if it isn't.
it's almost like I've established a puzzle here. A narrative puzzle.
I think we should go back.
I think we should go to the island.
Well, that's 1 versus 1. I think we have an odd number plate.
Yes, exactly. What's the harm in looking apart from certain death?
Yeah, exactly. And we're martyrs, right? This is our cause. We're supposed to be like... And if we don't come back, they'll know that it's dangerous. So
Yes. So they want some more people. That's perfect. That sounds. Oh dear.
we just have to write a note, put it in the beach, and just say, if you don't hear from us, it's dangerous, and then everything's fine.
Just lay out the skeletons in the words.
Yeah.
Don't come here. We're all dead.
Yeah. Oh,
Assuming as we got abundant of druids, I'll leave that message.
cool.
You're gonna so narrate that for us.
Well, my character, as a druid, has his own language, which all druids will know.
Yes.
And I will just leave a message for the nearest druid, just saying, huge, big, danger, possible cultists.
I mean, I also
On
have
the
these-
beach.
On the beach.
Right. So we haven't quite established you getting off the ship yet. Just to be clear, you're still on the ship debating this.
Well, no way. You said that there is no beach. There's just
There's
city.
no beach yet.
Okay.
Can we sail around the island? Since I'm still steering with my pipe and hat, can I steer around the island? It was established.
Yeah. Sure.
Just
Sure.
steer around the island just to have a
Are you
look.
going port or starboard?
Let's go right, starboard.
Okay. So Gregor turns the wheel and the ship begins to move to the right around the island. As okay, roll a perception check.
Nice.
28.
28. As
Critical success.
the oh, it was a critical. It was a crit as well. Cool. So as the ship moves around, you're looking out to the left at this island, and the city just seems to wind. The rock seems to be the city, and the city all seems to be constructed out of the same rock. It's like it was built into the side of a mountain peak. You don't see any caves per se, because anything that would have been a cave has been transformed into a building, or an entranceway or an arch of some kind or another.
So are there windows and other just ways into the city or is it a wall?
No, it's not a wall. There's no city walls. Presumably the city walls are below you, still in the water. It looks very much like the top of a mountainous city has just erupted
Oh, I
out of
see.
the bottom,
Okay.
out of the ocean. If you continue sailing round the entire island, it'll take you a couple of hours.
Wait,
It's at the moment. It's approaching 10 o'clock at night.
it looks like there's only really one way here, and that's over the top of these buildings, or perhaps into them.
I think if people are going to be hesitant, then Telemachus is going to jump into the small boat and just go.
Fantastic.
I'll happily follow you if you're going into that.
So
Might as well hop in.
great. So the three of you begin to set up the rowboat and lower it into the ocean. Who's immediately in the boat and who's up on the deck lowering it down?
I'm immediately in if you're heading to it.
I can lower it down.
Okay, so Greg.
Someone needs to stay with the ship in case it gets taken over by pirates or cultists.
There are other people in the boat, though.
Yeah, don't forget there is at maximum 16 of you
Oh, right. oh, okay. Yeah.
because
I'll
we
go
change
along.
characters
Right.
each hour.
Didn't quite click for me that. Yeah, no, I'll go along. Why not?
Okay, cool. The four of you row up to the side of the island then and gingerly get out onto the roof of a building. Can I get a survival check just to see, because it hasn't been established how good you guys are with boats? Okay, you're fine. You're on fire today.
24.
You got 24,
12.
12,
19.
19. Okay, well, Shelby, ironically, being the turtle person, the turtle doesn't have anything to do with the sea right here. But the...
Unturtle is the land one, is tortoise... I don't know.
well, there you are. I don't know. Tortoises.
Tortoise is land.
Oh.
Naturalist.
Oh, okay, so they're more like Teenage Mutant Ninja tortoises.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Turtles have
Fins.
flappies and
Flappies.
yeah.
That's the technical term.
That is the...
Okay.
That is the... You know...
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't have flappies.
No, you don't have flappies.
I don't know what
Telemachus
flappies are.
and Shelby just like, and you don't have flappies.
So-
It makes you a tortoise, not a turtle.
Well, I didn't name my entire race. I didn't choose it.
So I'm just rowing, listening to this conversation, just going,
You and me both.
yeah.
Yeah, the druid stays very quiet about this. So you get out onto this roof of a building, flat, sort of... looks very stout, but you don't see the bottom of it, obviously, because this is just peeking out the top of the water. Can I get, first of all, a wisdom saving throw from everyone?
Oh, fuck. I got a 1.
You got a
Yay.
1, okay.
6.
6,
19.
19,
17.
17. The two of you get out onto this flat surface, but you see that it's actually sloping down ever so slightly as your feet touch the top of the roof, and you adjust your body weight accordingly. However, Shelby and Telemachus, who are still arguing about whether Shelby is a turtle or a tortoise, fail to notice this geometrical shift, and both of you go tumbling forward into the water.
Oh no!
With a splash.
This is not my natural habitat.
Shelby! Shelby!
No.
Can you transform your arms into flappies?
I'm not a druid. That's them.
What are you both immediately? What's your reaction?
I'm gonna try and clamber back onto the.
Absolutely. Can I get an athletics check from you?
I'm gonna try and swim to the...
Yeah, and from you as well.
Apparently, no. I rolled a 1.
Yeah, you.
This is not gonna go well.
Oh my god. See, this is what I meant. No matter how easy it should have been. So, what
To get out of boat.
Yeah, well, no, exactly. So you're now in the water, desperately trying to climb your way up onto this sloped roof, but your hands never purchase on the edge that you think should be there, and whenever you put your weight down on your hand just keeps travelling through the air, and it's suddenly a slope, and it's very confusing, and you're panicking now, and you're in the water.
Why did my ancestors lie to me? I should be a turtle.
What did you get?
Got a 10.
10, you're fine. You managed to swim back up to the edge. The two of you are just stood there watching Shelby flap around in the water at this stage.
Can I throw a rope down to them?
Yeah? I mean, they're right there.
Oh.
You're stood on the roof that they're trying to get on.
I'll brace myself and reach out my hand.
Okay, so you can now roll again with advantage, I'm going to say, which just means you roll twice and you pick the higher one.
So that would be 19.
Much better, yeah. So you managed to, with Gregor's help, lift yourself up onto this roof. As John Hisborn just looks on in dismay. So you have now all made landfall in this strange, bendy city.
Nobody tell anybody about that.
Marcus is like shaking himself off like a dog.
Sure.
I was just going to say, can you remind me what Termax is?
An elf.
Elf. Oh, okay. You're still like...
Yeah. They are absolutely not the kind of elf who is very like talky, just like it's coffee. Yeah.
Ahead of you is just what looks like a residential district. But now that you're up close, all of the stone that this building is made out of has a strange sort of green tinge to it. I can hear you pricking up already, James. Roll your history check with advantage, because you're a dwarf and you know about these things.
I know stone. Established early. I have a collection of shapely stones at home. 22.
22. You don't know this stone.
This is an unnatural abomination.
This stone seems like, if you were to make a guess, your best guess would be jade, but it's like darker than that, and it seems to be porous. When you touch it, if you
Why
touch
are you
it,
touching it?
I'm not touching the vein that's right on either side.
no,
sort of
the
thing.
whole stone is
The
like
whole- the whole
well, the
stone.
whole
Wow.
city is built out
Jeez.
of this. That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
And when you touch it, it feels damp to the touch, which shouldn't be too much of a surprise considering you're in a city that's right in the middle of the ocean. But at the same time, it feels damp in the way a sponge feels damp when you press it. It doesn't depress, it doesn't yield to your hand. It is still stone, but it feels wrong.
Does my hand come away dry?
Yes. Yeah, your hand comes away dry.
Hey guys, executive decision not to touch any of the stone again, please.
Well, are we standing on buildings
Yes.
made of it?
Okay, but in Telemachus' head, it's like, okay, but we've got clothes on. We're all skin to stone.
I look at my feet. I'm a turtle. I don't wear shoes.
No.
I've investigated. I've been smelling it. I've been touching it.
Gregor is dead to Telemachus now. Just like, oh, Gregor touched that stone. Better not look at them again.
Are
Look at
there
him
any
again.
signs of life where we are?
Roll an investigation check.
Nope.
You're looking
Natural
around.
one.
Natural one.
What are nat ones?
You're looking around, but you're desperately looking at the bones that are in the street, looking for signs of life. That's not a
I would like
sign
to,
of life.
I would like to say, I can see if there's any life that thinks like we do around me. And I put my hands together, and then turning them ever so slightly, I pull my hands apart, strands of magical thread appearing between them. And then as I concentrate on one, it fades away and turns to small sparkles as I try and summon the magic to detect thoughts around us.
Detect thoughts. What's the range on that?
I don't know. It doesn't say here, unfortunately.
60.
This is a job for the stage manager. It might be 60 feet. If it's more than 60 feet, then
So the range is south. You can focus your mind on one creature that you can see within 30 meters.
Oh, okay.
Right,
it's not
so
just
30
a general.
feet. No, it's not just in general. So it's more of a mind reading spell than a detecting.
I see. Okay.
It's not a radar. It's more of a probe.
Okay, sure.
Sorry, Oz. I won't let you. You won't lose the spell slot. How's that?
That's fine.
Can I get onto a roof as sneakily as possible and trying to find any sign of it?
Yeah. Okay. So roll your stealth check.
Are we on a roof?
You're on a roof, but I think they want to get onto a roof across
13.
13. You rolled a 3 and it's a 13, so I don't know why you're upset about that. Telemachus hops into the street being careful not to crush any of the bones under their feet, and they climb up onto a roof opposite, which they're used to doing. We've seen Telemachus climb onto roofs many a time before. Now roll me a perception check as you're looking around this city, which winds in strange ways.
14.
And the biggest thing you can see, the thing that sort of fills your perception, is right up on the top of this mountain. There is what looks to be a temple, a sort of ziggurat with a green light that seems to pulse out of it constantly, almost like a lighthouse of strange energy. Green light being of a wavelength that meant that you couldn't actually see it until you got to this point, this close. As for signs of life, you can tell that there have been inhabitants in this city, but they're not immediately around you.
Wait, I've wanted to say this for years. Telemachus, what do your elf eyes see?
Telemachus isn't gonna say anything because they're like trying to be quiet, but it's just.
As I shout this.
Yeah. Actually, I don't think, even though Telemachus is like, I'm so stealthy, doesn't even think about how everyone else is just being really loud, so just looks and is just like.
Oh, it's a big ziggurat thing.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's where we should go.
Telemachus is like, let's go.
Very excited. Okay, so we have to get excited. Yes, all of us. Right. Okay.
As the dwarf and the druid just exchange glances and shake their heads.
Here we go again.
At this turn of events, yes.
The climb would take maybe 45 minutes. It's quite high up. Just so you're aware. Just so we're painting a picture. So you're going to have to start picking your way through the city. As you stand on your right, for the three of you, Telemachus has already crossed this. For the three of you, there is what looks like a street running left to right across you, full of these bones that I've mentioned before. And the streets sort of wind left and right, seem to go straight and then corner and then straight, and then you can't quite keep in your mind the geography of the place. This is going to be a difficult thing to navigate.
I say to the others, we've had to do a lot of clambering and climbing. Who here is not very good at climbing? I'd like to help us out a little. Being a bardic fellow myself, I swing around the guitar that I've had on my back, somehow working its way through the water.
Yep.
Checks out. Who here is not very good at climbing?
My athletics is -1.
Okay.
Remind you about the relaxed performance here.
Yes. Get to the fucking ziggurat.
Okay, so who was that for? Telemachus.
Telemachus, you have a an A-sided dice to roll at any time to boost another dice roll.
Amazing.
That's
That's
a
a
10.
10.
That's fine. So,
Yep, that works.
how are you guys going to proceed from here?
I would love to be a bird right now. Please.
Alright, actually, that's not a bad idea. You might be able to pick out some ways towards there. I mean, it might do all the shifty thing, but...
Why not?
So, you're turning
Into an owl.
into an owl.
Who?
Yes.
Okay.
Good thing I'm leaving at the end of this.
With your beast shape, yes?
Don't think I could take another pun from Oz.
Oh, no. Okay, have you got the stats for that? Because I'm just looking them up now. Oh, no, found them. Okay. Oh, dear. Okay, so what are you doing? So your owl, just so you're aware, has an armor class of 11 and one hit point. And a dex score of +1, but they do get a +3 to their stealth. So, as this green dragon creature sort of reduces in size, is there any particular species of owl you're going for? No,
Just a general green owl.
green owl.
Green owl.
Yep, those generic green owls that we see.
Won't be suspicious in the least bit.
Well, everything is
know, it's
green
just-
around here, so
It fits in.
Yeah, it's a speckled green owl.
The lesser speckled.
The lesser speckled green owl. What are you intending to do with this, John Hisborn?
Fly up, but also take a bit of a look around.
Okay, can you roll a stealth check for me?
Get a bird's eye view of the situation.
you complain about Oz, and that was worse.
That was
That was awful.
Sorry, what was the check I was rolling?
Sorry?
What was the
+3.
No, what was it rolling?
Oh, stealth.
Stealth.
But you've got a +3.
Plus 4. So, yep, that's 13.
Okay. So as you
that noise. It's a harbinger of doom.
as you take off and swoop and bank round to the left, you can see. Quickly roll a perception check for me.
I've got keen senses. I
You
believe.
have got keen hearing and sight, so you get advantage on your perception checks, and your modifier is +3.
That'll be 13.
You've got advantage.
So twice.
Oh, much better. 18.
Okay, you do catch movement. Owls are very good at spotting movement, of course. That's what their eyes are designed to do. And you do see that this city does have people moving through it. You immediately recognize the robes of the cult flapping around a corner, and you can see suddenly that there are people in the windows up by the ziggurat further into the city who are entrenched and waiting for a fight. You also see the last thing you see as the owl, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to beat an 11. The last thing you see as the owl is a sort of... It looks like a hunched creature, but its hands sort of end in spikes, and one of them is long, about 6 foot long. Its arm is just trailing along the floor as it walks through this city towards your compatriots. But before you get an opportunity to say anything to them, a lightning a bolt of lightning strikes out from one of the windows towards you, forming a pebble at the end, so it looks almost like a comet coming towards you. And it hits you in the side for...
He has 1 hit point.
But then the rest of the damage carries over.
Oh.
So 17 points of damage. So
John
Hisborn himself takes 16 points of damage as your owl form dissipates and you find yourself in midair, falling, having just been hit by a lightning chromatic orb in the side. You're now plummeting to the ground, using the momentum that you had as an owl. Have you got anything that could save you in this particular situation?
This is gonna hurt.
Okay. Unfortunately, not having anything that could save you, you're going to skitter into the ground and smash with your shoulder down into the floor for... So 26 points of bludgeoning damage as your shoulder dislocates itself on the floor.
You down.
Also going to be a very, very loud draconic curse.
Sure. Does anyone else speak Draconic?
No, but I would like to rush over to him.
I
and
think
try and...
the implication behind the word is clear as it escapes John's mouth. He didn't even get very far, so he's about 60 foot. He's about 60 foot up the road to your right.
John! And I'm going to trundle over there as quick as I can. Trundle.
So Max is like running, stealthily running.
I mean, were you still on the rooftops? Yeah. Okay.
To try and find the best vantage point to crossbow whoever did that.
Cool. Shortbow. So roll your stealth check. 14. You're not particularly stealthy. You're panting. You're saying, action, adventure. It's been a while since Telemachus has been in the field, and they're loving it. Woo! I live for this. As you hop from roof to roof, and you stand down over John as he writhes on the floor, cursing in Draconic. Can you please roll a perception check for me? And then what's Gregor immediately doing?
At the start of the hour, I meant to ask if I found any cultist robes in the ship. You can't retcon How
that.
far away are we from the ship?
You need to get back in the rowing boat, row back to the ship, get yourself raised back up. It would take approximately 15 minutes to get there. Then you have to search the ship. Then you'd have to come back another 15 minutes.
Yeah.
The whole thing's going to take north of half an hour. Yeah.
Sorry,
man.
Yeah, I'll sort of try and sort of hunker down and have a look and see where the lightning came from and where other sort of enemies are. And try
Roll a perception check. 26. Okay. What you see is a creature. It seems it's not wearing clothes, but it doesn't seem to have any sort of gametes at all, and it's there, just lumbering along. It's sort of 6 foot tall. Its neck and flesh appear blue from the face down, and its right arm is just this long, horrendous spike thing trailing on the ground behind it, and it is turning a corner and will be on top of John Hisborn any moment.
I would like to try and make sure.
Okay, well, we're going to go into initiative order.
I got a 14 for my perception.
Okay, you can't spot where that chromatic orb came from. It came from one of the windows somewhere up in the city. It looks like they're going to hunker you down and try and, kill you with attrition on your way up to their temple. Can I get everyone to go into initiative order, please? You've got a 9. 3.
23.
23 from Shelby.
Nice.
And Gregor?
20.
20.
That would require me to know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, it would, Shelby, because you're first.
I'm still making my way over to John, I'm assuming? Or have I made it there?
You will have made it there with the movement on your turn.
Okay. Then can I see any of these like the thing with the arm and all this kind of thing?
Well, roll a perception check, because your focus is John at the moment.
Yes, absolutely. So 18.
Yes, so it's off to your left,
Yep.
the creature that I described before. And as you look at it, actually, you can see that its legs are spikes as well. And as it moves, it sort of almost sinks into the stone, which you heard Gregor describe as porous earlier.
Oh, that's not good.
It looks like the city itself is it's manifesting something walking towards you.
Oh, right. In that case, how quickly is it going to get to me? Is it going to get to me before I go again, or?
No. It seems to be quite some way away. Maybe about 60 feet away. It'll take it and it's not moving quickly.
Okay.
You could easily outrun this thing. However, as you look at it, roll an intelligence check.
A natural 20. So critical success.
Its long 6-foot arm on the floor, as it moves, as shoulder seems elastic in its form, and you get the feeling that might be quite a nasty whip to be on the end of.
I did want to ask, with any knowledge of magic that I have, would I perceive it as being a magical effect created by the city itself?
Roll an Arcana check.
I was hoping I'd use the 20. No,
Sorry.
3. So, it's a thing.
Yeah, no, it looks horrible.
Okay.
It's a monstrosity. It's coming for you.
Then what I would like to do, not knowing better, is I would like to wait for it to get close enough to do this to, and then try and dispel magic on it.
Oh wow. Okay. Fair enough. So you're going to wait for it to be 30 feet away from you.
Yeah. So I'm twisting my hands together again, pulling those threads apart, like threads of fate and magic, and then letting go with one hand. I pick one and pull it out, almost like a whip itself.
Yeah.
And throwing it back, it elongates, and then I try and whip it.
Sick. Okay. We'll get to that when it gets within. Look, I'm just enjoying his description.
Yeah,
That's
it's
cool.
great. It's good fun.
Gregor, it's actually your turn next, though.
I'm gonna run up and hit it.
Okay, well, you can't see it from where you're at.
Oh, can I
because
hear
you're
the
down the
sounds?
road. You're 60 feet away from John Hisborn still, and it's up the road and round the corner.
Can he see us looking at
So
something?
you can see, what you can see is Shelby there beginning to cast a spell at something off to his left.
Right, I will run up and take a stance next to Shelby.
Sure, okay, it'll take your whole turn to reach there, 60 feet up there.
Yeah.
Because what happened there was, immediately as John appeared, Shelby specifically said, I run to John, whereas you were hunkering down looking, so you're a little bit further
No,
down.
yeah, that's fine.
Telemachus, you do see this thing, and you see it clock Shelby and John, and it's approaching your friends. It does not see you. Yeah, release that short bow.
Oh,
No.
what's it though?
12. No. So what happens is you release the arrow down into the thing, and it seems to have reached a corner in the road where you thought the road was straight, and your arrow actually just skitters off of a wall that you didn't think was going to be where it is. And the only reason you see where it is that the arrow hit it, and you curse the fact that this city is warping itself around you.
I, as a reaction, be able to get it.
You can try, yeah, roll an intimidation check and tell us what you yell. Or you could just go, ah!
17.
17.
I'm gonna, remember what the draconic person. I think Telemachus is like absorbing any swear words that they ever use, so just gets the draconic swear word and just yells it really loudly.
Fantastic. So, John, you hear yelled back in your language that horrendous swear word that you uttered earlier when you dislocated your shoulder. And the creature sort of turns, without moving its legs, just turns its trunk and looks up at you. As you look into its face, its eyes are just black spaces in its face, and its mouth has no teeth. It's just there, blank, staring at you. Which way are you dashing? Are you going... So, if you're on a corner here, and there's a road this way and a road that way, you're on a T-junction, are you going back the way you came, or are you going left down the road where it came from? Towards that way... Yeah, okay, cool. So, yeah, roll an acrobatics check to jump over the street. It's going to be quite hard, because it's quite a wide street. Yeah, okay, so you leap... and there's a beautiful slow-mo camera shot as Telemachus leaps over the street and lands on the road the other side.
Do you land in superhero, like one hand on the thing, kneeling down?
Which we all know is terrible for our legs.
It's bad for your knees, yeah.
Okay. Now it's its turn. As you leap... Oh...
I saw the roll, so I got excited.
It's terrible. It's a... Sorry, my eyes are really bad, guys. 9. So it's a 9. So as you leap, it whips out its arm, and this arm stretches to an extent where it would have been impossible. It should have been impossible. And the spike on the end of the arm becomes almost like a harpoon, which just passes through your legs as you leap from building to building. And then the arm snaps back into place by the side of the creature, and it moans, having missed you. John, Shelby is right next to you. You can see this creature attacking your friends, and you're in a bit of pain. Where are you at your hit points for the audience?
I'm down to 20.
20, okay, so you're not out yet. So
That is definitely going to change.
you're on the floor.
I'm going to be standing up.
Okay, so that's half your movement as you scramble to your feet.
Roughly
Try
try and
not-
put my shoulder back.
Yeah,
While doing that, cast Cure Wounds at
Sure.
level 3.
okay, we're just... Yeah, okay, so I'm not going to make you do a medicine check. We'll say that the magic itself helps pop the shoulder back into place. So that's 3d8 plus your wisdom modifier as your eyes glow green and your hand subjects the energy back onto your shoulder, clicking your shoulder into place.
14?
14?
15.
15. Okay, cool. So you restore 15 hit points to your bruised and battered shoulder.
Does the magic look green or anything like that?
Yes, that would be just the usual green.
You've got 15 foot left of movement, and any bonus actions you might have.
Bonus action. I'm gonna yell out Shiliach.
Oh, Shillelagh.
Yes.
Fantastic. Is it a staff you have?
It is a club.
A club. So, again, is it green? Describe to us how your Shillelagh catches, this magic fire catches onto the club.
Normally, I just have what looks like a mundane little wooden club. At this point, it starts glowing green and white and just looks a little bit bigger and a lot more menacing.
Brilliant. So the club almost seems to grow in size, shifting in the way that the city is itself shifting, and this flame of green and white glows around it. That brings us to the top of the round, which would be Shelby. It is now within range of you. You may roll for your Dispel Magic.
So what do I use, an attack roll, or does it?
So what you're going to roll your it's your spell modifier. Yeah.
Okay. So my spell attack roll is a total of 25. 25.
So as this whip crashes its way across the creature that you see, it shimmers and the very form of it begins to break down, and it doesn't disappear, but it retreats. Where it was 30 feet from you, it's now 90 feet away, and it's like it's glitching backwards. Of course, that is like there's no computers in this world, but for us, for our brains, it's like it's glitching backwards up the street.
What? I don't believe it.
You've been waiting to get that one in, haven't you? Gregor, quick action.
Could I have raged at the end of my last turn? That's
No.
bonus action. No.
You forgot to say it.
I will rage then.
Okay. As you picture your flames, the stillness in your heart turns to anger.
And I run forward.
Okay, so it's 90 feet away from you.
Uh-huh.
You're going to spend a key point to bonus action
No, that's
dash?
a bonus action. My bonus action is raging.
Oh, it's raging.
I'm
Okay.
going to throw 2 javelins.
Okay, roll your attack rolls. As you sprint forward, javelins in hand, chucking them at this thing.
12 and a 15.
Both miss. As it begins to glitch with Shelby's Dispel Magic, the javelins just pass through it. And your brilliant aim is disrupted by the fact that the city itself seems to be helping this thing along.
Should we be running, or what should we do?
Back to the ship.
Time to run.
Back to the ship, yells Gregor.
Why back to the ship? We can get up there and find out what's going on here.
Telemachus, it's your turn.
Ziggurat.
It's now about 150 feet away from you because you leapt that way. You were dashing that way. It's gone that way.
It's so far away from everything.
Gonna have to press you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Wants to draw the thing to catch me again. Is it on to the
It seems to be retreating back the other way
It wants to draw
into the city.
I want to draw it.
Okay. How are you gonna do that from over here?
How far can a short bow?
You can try and hit it from this range, but you'd be at disadvantage because normally you'd just aim straight. This time you'd have to do some geometry and fire into the air and bring it down on it.
I'm gonna try and do that while. I want to know what these guys are doing because if they're going to go in further, then I want to draw it.
Okay, well, it looks like this is going to be a bit of a debate. So, as the characters sort of grapple with what they're going to do next, whether to head back to the safety of land and their army, or to head up and try and pursue the secrets further through this guerrilla warfare, that is where we're going to have to leave this hour of Adventurers Wanted. Really sorry. Well, thank you. Yeah, so really sorry to leave it there in the middle of, seemingly in the middle of combat. But if you did enjoy the show, please do spread the word about it on your social medias and face-to-face, if you still do that. Everywhere on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch. We're live streaming on Twitch. We're at Adventurers Wanted. And on Twitter, we're at Adventurers250, where Naomi and indeed Nemo, when they're stage managing, are live tweeting the entire thing. So there are still, quick maths, 35 hours of this plot, of this show left before we reach the end. So if you do want to come back, we have, plenty of story left for you. I would normally plug player tickets, which is what has brought James and Mark to the stage here, but unfortunately those are all sold out for the rest of the run. But if you can't come back, you can follow on Twitch and on Adventurers250 on Twitter, like I said. We also have a Patreon page and a donate button. We do this every month in London, and we do free play events as well, trying to bring the hobby to a wider and more inclusive audience. So just before I say my thank yous and farewells, we're going to throw over to our players, and they get an opportunity, very quick opportunity to plug something that they're involved with, maybe at the Fringe, maybe in their lives. James?
Thank you. If you can't make it to London for their Omen shows, which are fantastic, and you for some reason can't watch on the stream, there is a tabletop convention in Perth, first weekend of September, Tabletop Scotland, where there are a bunch of tables of Dungeons and Dragons and all sorts of other tabletop games. So, yeah, come on down to that.
I'm going to plug someone else's show. In the room next door, there's Hamlet and Experience, and it's really cool. It's a one-person Hamlet, and when you go in, you get given a script, and you can play one of the other characters, and it's really inclusive, and they tell you all the trigger warnings and stuff like that for your character and what kind of participation you'll be involved in, so it's nothing is sprung on you, but it's really fun.
To be a character or not to be a character?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Oz, and I'm on a journey to help people level up as being a game master, like the venerable Leo was here just now. I'm not sure what venerable means. It sounded good, but I run D&D games online on Twitch, and I'm currently producing a series of videos to help people learn how to do what he did here. I can be found on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube under the username OzMills. And I have cards here if you want to take them away today.
Fantastic. And Mark?
I would recommend the Edinburgh Games Hub, which is just around the corner.
Oh yeah, they're great.
If you love board games or anything like this, they've got D&D nights. They have got over 900 board games available to play. Let that sink in. 900 board games.
I went and looked at their library, and it is really, there's some rare stuff in there as well that's out of print as well. It's really cool.
Just go and book the evening, grab a few friends. They even have groupless gamers on Thursdays, so if you had a loose end, just join in.
Fantastic. Nice. So all that remains for me to do is please a round of applause for our fantastic BSL interpreter today. And for our players. And thank you very much, guys.